everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Alright, story time on how a grown man played with me. If you guys have been watching and following me, you guys know that I'm in San Diego right now and that I landed here because I was supposed to come see somebody, a boo thing, and things went left and I got to the airport with nowhere to go, and I'm still here though, 2 nights later, surviving and thriving. Let me take it back to when I met this man. This was like a couple months ago and I was visiting a friend out here in San Diego. We went to a pool because I love water, pool, just good weather. I'm like always hanging out by the water if it's available. So we decided to go to the pool area. This is like a luxury apartment complex, so the pool area is really, really, really nice with like a bunch of outdoor area, fire pits, multiple pools, hot tubs, whatever. It's just a vibe, right? So that complex specifically like has a lot of, younger people that live there. It's just like very diverse, actually all age ranges, but it's just like pretty poppin', right? So we went there to go get some content in and work, my friend and I. We were minding our business when we sit down at a table and there is like a group of guys sitting across from us, and one of them walks past us and starts talking to us, which was his friend, the guy's friend. We're gonna call him T, the guy that I was dating, talking to. The guy that was with T walked over to us and starts talking to us, and then eventually we all agree that we're gonna hang out, but T hasn't walked over to us yet. So this is at this point just the friend that's talking to us. And then eventually one of the other guys in the group walks over, introduces himself, seems like a nice guy. The first guy seemed like toxic and crazy, but like whatever, I'm very open to like networking and talking to people, so it was fine. But the second guy that came over and talked to us, he was like a little bit more the stable one in the group. Now looking back at it, like he had a dog, he told us he was dating somebody, like he seemed cool. So mind you that T hasn't walked over yet, okay? His 2 friends are talking to us. T is very much doing his own thing, like still sitting where he was sitting. It took him a while to get up and come over and introduce himself. So that's one thing that I noticed, that I was like, okay, well that's cool. I like that he didn't like just walk over to the girls right away. Like it took him a while to come over. Keep that in mind. So eventually he does work his way over and he looked cute, like he's a tall white boy with a beard. Love that. So when he walked over, I was like, ooh, he's cute, but I had already been kind of eyeing him before that. He walks over, introduces himself, and then after some time, we're like all talking, I find out that he just got out of a relationship a few days before we met. So we're still talking, getting to know each other, and he basically said that he's always in a relationship, that he's very much a relationship type, and he's basically never single. I probably should have not pursued anything knowing that he just got out of something like a few days before that. But I've also been in situations where like I've gotten out of things and like they were done, you know what I mean? Even though it was fresh, like I just knew that I wasn't gonna go back to it. So against my better judgment, I proceeded to continue to get to know him. After some time, it's just my friend and I hanging out with T and his 2 friends, and we're just all hanging out by the pool. His boy, the crazy one, went to go get drinks because we didn't have any alcohol. Like we were just hanging out by the pool working. Our intention wasn't to like have drinks and hang out. So one of his friends, the crazy one, decided to go get some mojitos from the store, whatever, asked, do you guys want anything? What do you guys want? Whatever. He went to the store, came back, brought some mojitos, and then T had told me that he wasn't drinking. So when I first met him, he just said like, yeah, I'm not drinking, I'm stopping for a while. So I was like, okay, cool. But then the mojitos got there, we're having a good time, conversation's flowing. He changed his mind and then he decided to start drinking too. So the conversation's good, the drinks are flowing, strong chemistry between T and I. And now that I'm saying this out loud and telling you guys, like I'm going through this with you guys in real time and reflecting on it. Now I'm like, oh, I should have noted that, like that was a sign now looking back, right? But okay, first thing I will say is that the first guy that introduced himself to us, which is how we all met in the first place, he was just a little bit of a mess. The things that were coming out of his friend's mouth, like just saying how he knew some real LA baddies, this and that, like that they were all about like OF and this and that, like you could just tell that he's been in like the nightlife and like likes scrippers and OF models and stuff like that. This is the friend. He was saying that like a lot of negative things about women and relationships. That's a sign right there that like if he was hanging out with somebody like that, associating with people like that, like obviously that's also going to be somewhat his lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But then the third guy with the dog that dates somebody and let us know that he looked like the most stable one out of the two, I guess, or just like his lifestyle. You know, he was responsible for a doggy. He lived in that complex alone, and then he was dating somebody. So anyways, I could be wrong. He could be a total freaking douchebag for all I know. I kind of was like, I don't like that this guy is like his friend, somebody that he just hangs with, you know, because it was like the middle of the day on a weekday and they were at the pool or whatever, just like discussing business because they were business partners, all three. I did notice that T was going to the bathroom, taking a little bathroom break, okay? Now I know that the reason why he was going to the bathroom is because he might have been playing with some nose candy. Didn't know that then. I remember that moment when he was walking to the bathroom, I thought to myself, like, yeah, this guy is trouble. That, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that thought did run through my mind. Something about his behavior, it just looked like too carefree, just like having fun, living life, which is great. But it just didn't strike me like somebody that, you know, I could probably be like in a real relationship with. Like, yes, a relationship, but like it would come with some toxic vibes. But I ignored that feeling and continued. So we're still hanging out at the pool, and then two people come up to the pool and they say hey to him, like they all know each other. So it was one gay guy and then his friend. So the gay guy is like super loud, confident, whatever, good vibes, and his friend is very quiet. So we all hang out. So now there's the three friends and then two more and then my friend and I. So there's like a group of 6 or 7 of us. And one of his friends, the guy with the dog, ends up leaving. The crazier guy who we initially met ends up also leaving because he was on probation, by the way. You know, not to judge anybody that's on probation, but just telling you guys what it is. So now we're just left with my friend, the gay guy, his friend, and T, and myself, okay? So it's just us, and we decide let's continue the party, and T and I had discussed drinking some filthy martinis. So remember, he wasn't supposed to be drinking, but he just gave in. Like, he saw a cute girl that he was attracted to, he was vibing, so he just put off to the side what he wasn't supposed to be doing, which was drinking, right? Like, he initially told me when we met that he wasn't.
Red flag. That's a red flag. Any man that can't stop drinking just because he meets a woman, if he has an obligation to stop drinking, he needs to stop drinking. Regardless of what, if that woman can talk you into drinking, she could talk you into a lot more. That's a red flag for you, sir. And that woman, that's also a red flag for you, that man would get off of whatever sobriety he is on to drink. You don't know if that man is an alcoholic. He could be just downplaying it, and then you get him to drinking. That's crazy. Red flag.
Drinking, but it didn't take much for him to change his mind. And now also looking back at it, like that's also a sign, like, you know, he was easily like directed a different direction. So I changed my clothes in the bathroom there at the complex, and I'm gonna tell you guys another red flag. He was being a little overly sexual, I will say, like after a few drinks and stuff. Like, and the first time that I noticed it was when I was going to the bathroom to change. Again, we were outside in the community area, so I just figured I had my gym bag in there. I was just gonna throw on my 2-piece gym outfit and we were gonna go grab like a couple drinks and some food, you know? It was like athletic, we're in San Diego, so people are pretty chill. He made a comment about trying to go into the bathroom with me, and that right there bothered me as well. But I ignored it because you just met me, and had I let you gone into the bathroom with me, you would have taken that opportunity. And it's just, looking back now, I'm like, damn, that's pretty sleazy and trashy, like, but then I'm like, okay, he's a man and men think with you know what. But I just don't like that behavior, and I don't think that all men behave that way. I don't let him come into the bathroom with me, and I change, and then I come out. We go to the restaurant. So we met up, the gay guy and his friend, at the restaurant. They picked the restaurant. T, my friend, and I got there. We met up with them, and so the gay guy, I remember him making a comment and asking T, like, oh, that was it? That was fast. And then I was like, what? So he was like basically assuming that we had hooked up and slept together like already, right? So I don't know if, like, again, another red flag, because I'm like, okay, does this dude just meet girls like this all the time and this is just like a normal thing for him? Because that's what it sounded like to me. Now, after all this went down, it all makes sense. You know what I mean? It's all coming together. When he said that, I made sure to step in and let him know that we did not hook up. I was like, oh no, that's not what we were doing. That didn't happen. Like, what? Pay attention to the signs. Like, that was a very telling thing. Like, he basically just, it was very telling. Like, this is very normal for him. I just noticed that just like leading with a lot of sexual stuff, and I don't like that. Also, I heard the gay guy like make a comment like saying, damn, I don't know, I think she would tear your ass up or something like that. And I'm just like, dude, why does everything like have to be sexual? So I should have picked up on all of this, and I did. There were alerts going off and I ignored them. We're having a great time though, and we decide after that restaurant that we were gonna go bar hopping and go check out, I don't even know where we went, guys, because I'm not from San Diego, but we went somewhere. It wasn't like Little Italy or Gas Lamp. I have no idea where it was, but we went somewhere and went bar hopping a little bit. And my friend was sober. She doesn't drink. So that was good because she was being observant, and then later gave me the tea on like maybe things that I missed. But overall, she said she liked the guy and that he was cute and this and that, and like, oh, I love him for you, blah blah blah. But now I'm like, why didn't I just listen to my own gut? So we went to go have a few drinks at a bar, but I don't drink. Like, I mean, I drink, but I drink a little slow. I'm not like into shots and stuff. So I was drinking, but like drinking a little slow, whatever he was drinking. We ended up hanging out until pretty late. And then once it's time to go back home, he asks if I want to stay at his place. So my friend and I ended up going back to his place and hanging out, and we did stay the night, all of us. So not just me, but we did end up like hanging out and talking all night, and everything was good. So, you know, the night ended, whatever. And then I think actually my friend didn't spend the night. She stayed there until pretty freaking late, but then she ended up going home like really early in the morning or whatever, like, you know, like 3 in the morning or something. And I passed out, so I was sleeping. We had to go to TJ in the morning. So the next morning we had, you know, things going on in TJ. So she came back to pick me up. I think it was like 8 a.m. or something like that. And I was so tired, but I got picked up, and then he was just telling me how he didn't want me to leave, and he said, like, do you have to go to TJ? Because I would love for you to stay. Then he was just like, you know what? How about after TJ, you just come back here and let's hang out again. So just come back. So after TJ, I end up texting him and I invite him to come meet us somewhere where we were at. Like, it was like a rooftop or something. And then he just said that he was really tired and that he would let me know if he was up for like leaving the house. I'm gonna fast forward. So we didn't end up linking back up that day. I had to catch a flight back home the next morning after TJ. So it didn't work out for us to link up the next day. And then I just ended up catching a flight home. He ends up texting me every single day, hitting me up like every day as soon as I get home. So he was checking in, guys. This is where the story is gonna start to get better and make more sense now, because I want to tell you guys about like how it all went down after San Diego and once I was home, and how this man put in so much effort to see me again, and then like how it all led up to me ending up in San Diego and having him not pick me up.
Nah, she dragging it. Like, really, woman? Like, this doesn't take 10 damn parts to tell this story. Like, y'all haven't even went out on a date yet, and really you haven't even told us really red flags. You just really told us the introduction of him. So we haven't even gotten to know if he actually cheated with any of these or slept with women that he's met. And the way he met you, he didn't immediately come after you. He thought maybe his friends was going after you, and he came in after the fact. So he's not really the biggest red flag. And of course, those red flags wouldn't come up because he didn't initially give you that he was you know a a womanizer, as you would call him, a man that sleeps with a lot of women, I guess. Then getting him drunk, he doesn't drink, and you convince him to get a filthy martini or whatever, and he doesn't drink, and then you're upset because, or you have some type of feelings because he starts getting frisky now that he's been drinking. And when you get drunk, you start getting a little loose. Like we gotta have more common sense about some of these things.
We all meet back up by the pool before leaving and agree that we're gonna go somewhere wherever the gay guy picks. Okay, so we go to T's house. I forgot for what. Oh, he wanted to change, so he changed his clothes. Mind you guys, remember, he just got out of a relationship a few days before meeting me. I think he said like 3 days, but he said that she moved out in October. So I guess it had been a while and she moved out, but they were still like seeing each other. You know how that goes. So he did say that. So I remember I didn't have a jacket with me and it was already nighttime. He went to go change, and then I told him that I didn't have a jacket. So he said, I'll let you borrow one of mine. So he goes upstairs and gets me like the smallest jacket that he has. It was actually really cute and I loved the jacket. I asked him if I could have it. I was just kidding, but kind of not, If he would have said yes, I would have loved that. But he mentioned like, oh man, I would give it to you, but if I wasn't such a softie or something, because it was a gift from his ex on Valentine's Day. So here we go with the ex again, right? We go to the place where we're meeting the gay dude and his friend. So we get there, they're already at the table, and I just remember overhearing a conversation between the gay guy and T, where the gay dude looked at me and was like, I just have a feeling she would tear you up, or something like that. So it's just too much sexual talk, because if you guys remember, I think I mentioned that when we got there, the gay dude was like, that was fast, that's it, something like that, insinuating that we hooked up. So it was just a lot, and I ignored all of this when it bothered me. It bothered me in that moment. But I guess, there was a lot of attraction and there was chemistry. We got along really good. The night goes on. I want somebody that's marriage minded because I would like to get married, and it would just be nice. My ex was marriage minded, like he knew that he wanted to be a husband and that's in his future. This man T we were kind of arguing a little bit, like not arguing, but just kind of having debates or just different point of views. And while we were at the restaurant, my friend mentioned this to me later, like, oh, you guys kept arguing, but we were just kind of like disagreeing on certain things. One was marriage, because I guess he said like, see, that's why I don't want to get married. I forgot what we were talking about. I think his friend said something negative about a relationship or a girl that he dated, and then he's like, see, this is why I'm not going to get married, or I'm not getting married, or something along those lines of like, marriage isn't for him. And then when I disagreed with that and I gave him my opinion, like, oh well, because I think he said, if I find the right one, I guess I would. And we were kind of going back and forth about that, because I was just like, well, you should just want to, like, you should know that that's what you want, and like, just have that be in your future, not like, oh, if I meet the right one, I guess I would, like, I don't know. For me personally, that matters. And now that I'm naming all these things and telling you guys, like, I just knew that he wasn't the right fit for me, but I don't know what happened. So T and the gay guy ends up going to the bathroom, and once again, now I know that they were doing the nose candy. So the nose candy was like a thing all night. I don't know if I'm going all over the place with this story. I'm not really that great at telling stories, I guess, but I'm trying. So let's just fast forward. I think I already told you guys, I ended up spending the night. My friend ended up going home, like,
She didn't mention this, but one red flag is going to the bathroom with a gay guy doing nose candy. Ma'am, he's just not it. But anyway.
really late / early morning. We had to go to TJ, so she picked me up in the morning. This man walked me outside. He asked me to come back and see him that day, but it didn't work out. I had already told you guys this. I think I just told you guys all about the restaurant. So I ended up not seeing him again on this trip because I ended up catching a flight. Like, we went to TJ, and then I was like tired afterwards. We went to Sessions in San Diego, and then I invited him there, but he was too tired because he was up like a long time or all night, whatever. And so we didn't end up meeting up. I flew home, and then I'm gonna tell you guys the after part now, like how we maintained the relationship leading up to me flying to San Diego. I forgot to mention that after the restaurant, we did go to a bar. We went bar hopping a little bit, and I don't remember where it was. I also mentioned this in a previous video. Fast forward, now I'm back home and he's in San Diego, and I wasn't really sure if we were gonna continue to talk. Like, I wasn't sure. I just knew that we got along really good, and from the sounds of it, he wanted me to come back that same day, and he made sure that like we exchanged numbers. Like, I could tell he was obviously interested, but you know, I was just gonna let things be. So right away when I got home, he did start like texting. I remember that he would do things like he would like one day he called me when he was driving back, I guess, from just finishing dinner with his mom, and he called me, and so like he would just check in. Like, he was acting like my man, but he was just like, oh, I'm just driving back home from having dinner with my mom, maybe you can meet her one day, like I'm really close to her and maybe you can meet her one day. He started saying these things like really early on. I forgot to mention something. When I was with him that one night, when we were like hanging out, I remember us talking about like, I want to move to San Diego. I would love to move there. He made a few comments like, okay, fine, you can move in. And he made that comment like a couple times because I told him that I love a provider man, that like I'm drawn to provider types. I was just saying like I'd love to move there and do like social media and just do my thing and grow without having to worry about like bills and paying too much. Like, not like I won't contribute, but at least like, you know, you can take care of like a lot of it and just support me so I can grow and then I can help out more, whatever, you know. I just want like a supportive man. And he's like, okay, he's like, you can move in. So he said that a few times. Another time we were on the phone and I think social media had come up and he asked.
So basically what she's saying is she needs someone to take care of her because her bills are too expensive that she's paying on her own. Mind you, she lives in an apartment complex. As you see, she's at her apartment complex having this debacle, which I don't understand. Women who are looking for a provider type are actually looking for someone to take care of them. They need a daddy, okay? They need somebody to pay their bills, okay? So she can be an influencer. And she can provide in that way, okay? So she can contribute, okay? I don't think, but then she says he's the red flag. I just want to, because I don't think we're going to get to the end of this video or end of this story. I want to say that she did not mention that she wanted to be a homemaker. Like, I want to be a mom. I want to start a family. I want to grow. I want to help you establish yourself and create more business and more things to help you stretch yourself out so you don't have to be worn thin when you have extra things going on. Like, I have extra things going on, but if I had a partner that was helping me, that was living with me, that didn't have to contribute to the financial side of the bills, that I didn't have to stretch myself thin. Like, say, if she came and did my editing for my videos, that would help me because I could then record more videos. Because, hey, you living here for free, learn how to edit the videos and put them out and schedule them and title them and create the thumbnails so I can record more and I can focus on that stuff versus wearing myself thin. But in this case, she's not doing that. She's focusing on herself. She wants to build herself. So in that case, if she does build herself up and she creates this social media persona that everyone knows and loves, and she starts to get brand deals and makes money and becomes this wealthy individual, or have some type of income, and your red flags start coming out, and y'all been in a relationship for a year, and now she no longer needs your services because she's gonna move back into her apartment. So you pretty much paid her bills so she can get her career off the ground, and now she's making a story time about you. You're becoming her storyline because of how you treated her while you were paying all the bills, while you were working hard to make sure that she had everything she needed to be her supporter financially, provider, daddy, to get her social media platform off the ground. Doesn't make any sense. But let's get it a minute with Mishi.
Me, like how many followers I had. I told him how many followers I had, like on Instagram and TikTok, because those are the two that I use. But I'm not active on Instagram like I am on TikTok. I really love TikTok. Anyway, I told him, and in his mind, he thought like I'm an influencer. Guys, I don't consider myself an influencer, but he was like, oh, so I'm dating an influencer? And then, mind you, at this point, we had been talking like every single day and FaceTiming and stuff. And so when he said that, like, he just basically was trying to prove to me that, like, okay, we're dating. Like, I'm serious. You can move in. I want you to meet my mom. Like, all these things, right? And by him, like, checking in every day, like, it did feel like that. Like, we were heading into, like, a serious direction. The text messages were like, good morning, baby. Or he started calling me baby. Good night. Checking in the day. Like, we would talk a lot, actually, like daily text, good morning, good night. Like, we got into this routine where we would just like either FaceTime each other in the morning. We would FaceTime each other a lot, like throughout the day. I don't think that he was like seeing anybody else because like we would just check in so much and do a lot of FaceTime. But he did mention to me that he had to give all the stuff to his ex back, meaning like he's gonna see her again. His friends said that I looked like his ex, but better, but we look alike. So he likes the Latinas. He's a white boy. And his dad is getting married to a chick named Gabriella. What are the odds? He asked me when I was going back to San Diego, and I just told him like, well, babe, like you need to lead and make a plan. Like, I'm not gonna do it. So he did. And he got me a flight to go out there. Very important. He's never single. So he mentioned that a few times. He said, I'm never single. He can't remember the last time he was single. He said he's always in a relationship. Do you guys think that's a red flag? I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. I do think that there are people that are like always in relationships, or there's people that are always single. I don't know how I feel about that though, because does that mean that he's just not able to be alone ever? He's codependent? I don't know, but the guy is never single. I'm not trying to blame anybody for anything that happened or say that I'm better, nothing like that. I just think that my concerns came from a place where I was on vacation and I met him, but for him, that's just his normal lifestyle. So he was at home in San Diego, and for him, maybe this happens easily because there's a lot of people that vacation in San Diego, and he lives in like a really popular area where there's like a lot of opportunity to meet people from where he lives. All he has to do is go downstairs.
obviously is dragging its own. It's I don't know how many followers she has, but 67.3 thousand followers. 67,000 followers is not bad for someone on TikTok. Um, I just wish that she got videos that a couple some millions of views. So anyway, I just think that she wants to have someone that's she went out there to meet somebody that got something. And you can meet that person anywhere. Like you can meet that person. You definitely can. Like there are people all around. Sometimes that's why she's at the golf course. Of course. That's why she's at the golf course. Because that is where you meet people that have it. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about wealth. There's two different there's two different there's two different things when you talk about money and wealth. They two different. Okay? And she's trying to find somebody with some wealth, okay? It just depends on what golf course. You can't go to the golf course on the east side. You got to go to the one, the oak tree up in Edmond off of Coffee Creek Road. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. And I think she's doing her best, and I think that she should just dead this story and focus on her content creation and not worry about having a man as a provider. Find you a husband. Because if you deliberately go out looking for a provider, you're gonna find a douche. God will send you a man that's gonna be good to you, that's gonna provide for you. If you have to tell a man to provide for you, if you have to tell a man that's gonna provide for you, you're asking for too much. You're already asking for too much because a man is gonna provide for you. Like if you meet a man that has his own place, he's not losing his place for you. So you're gonna move into his place, especially if you don't have no kids. You don't have no kids, he moving you in immediately. Okay, so he's gonna be providing for you. God can put that in your life. Even if you do have kids, God will put you with somebody who will be a father figure to you and your kids and will provide for you. But you still got to have a job because those are your kids you got to take care of. If you come without no kids, you may be able to get away with being a social media influencer. So just do what you do, man.
Let me rewind to where I was still in San Diego. I remember that as the night went on, he said that he had a brother who lived near me and that he was going to go see him in a week. So he was already trying to see me in a week. Also, when I first got in his car for the first time, this man put my seatbelt on for me. So he was being nice to your girl, okay? Just taking care of me. I don't know, but he even put my seatbelt on for me so I didn't have to do it myself. So he doesn't end up coming out here to see his brother like he said that he was going to do in a week. What I noticed about him is that he he gets all excited in the moment and then over promises and under delivers. So he did that a few times. But yeah, he didn't end up coming out within the week. But he did come out maybe a little bit more than 2 weeks after. Even though we already had the dates picked that I was going to be going out there, I mentioned to him that I thought it was a good idea if we saw each other sooner because I don't know, like I didn't want it to fizzle out. He ends up coming out here. I see him. It was good. Everything. So we keep this thing going now until it's my turn to go out there. What does he do for work, you may ask? Well, he said that he was a business owner and that he just started a new business with him and his two friends who I originally met him with. So remember the wild guy that was on probation, and then his other white boyfriend who's dating a Latina and had the little dog with him. Those were his business partners. That's what they were doing at the pool, is having a little business meeting. So they say. I asked him, because I'm curious, since this is like a new business that you just started, well, what's your weekly like routine for work? He said, whatever I want it to be. Okay, whatever you want it to be, that's cool. So I think the first thought that came to mind was like, okay, this guy probably hangs out a lot and parties a lot. I don't know. But I have flexibility too in my schedule. I only go to work 2 days a week, like in person, and then everything else I can do from anywhere. So I get that, but the way he said it was just like whatever I want it to be. I'm trying to figure out how this is all going to work, because I was going to be there for several nights at a time, and I work out in the morning. I have work to do on my phone or laptop, whatever. I just need like somewhere to work. I can go and travel and I have flexibility, but I still can't be completely 100% off. I'm always working. I work all the time. So I wanted to understand like what his routine was and his work schedule was like, so I can plan around that, or we can, plan together. You have to have some sort of routine. Like, what time do you wake up in the morning? And I feel like he basically just had to answer me just to shut me up, basically. But he said, well, I usually do calls from like 9 to 2. Okay, but it didn't sound like he was like some disciplined guy that wakes up in the morning and, gets to work. It didn't sound like that to me. The gym takes up a lot of my time too, so he doesn't really work out that much. Or he said he does work out, and the day that I met him, he was on the way to the gym after his meeting, supposedly, but that changed when he decided to hang out with me. He said that he hadn't been to the gym in like a little bit over a month. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, so what do you do? How do you, like, I'm just trying to understand, sir, like, your routine. So all I got was basically the calls from 9 to 2, and that he does whatever he wants. So I ask, what are your hobbies? Like, what do you do in your free time? He tells me he golfs a lot. He said, well, since I've been single, I've been golfing a lot. He didn't really know what to say, so his friend was there when we were talking, and he asked his friend, like, hey, like, what do I do in my free time? Because he was like, I really don't know. I don't do much. I'm a homebody. I don't really go out that much. So he asked his friend, and his friend confirmed, like, you just golf. But golfing comes with partying, drinking, hanging out with all the boys. It just turns into more than just golf. I'm not speaking for all golfers, so don't come for me for that. I'm just saying that, like, his vibe was like, yeah, let's go golfing. We can drink a little, talk a little business, talk a little shit, and then, we can continue the party after as well. So it could turn into like a whole thing. Yeah. So are you guys with me so far? This man is making it seem like he doesn't party. He doesn't really go out. He's a homebody. He just golfs so innocently. But he did admit to me that he does a little white girl when he drinks. Because that was another question that I asked him. I said, what's up? Like, do you play with your nose often? Like, what's going on? And he said, no. I'm not going to lie, sometimes when I drink. And I'm like, well, how often do you drink? And he was like, it just depends. But he's like, I don't drink all the time. So I didn't really get a straight answer. So this is Saturday morning. I'm flying out Sunday. He texts me in the morning, like 8 a.m. And he was like, hey, baby, send me a grocery list, anything specific that you want, whatever, send it. And I was like, okay, like, I'll send it later. That was cute. So everything was fine. Like, up until this point, everything was good. And then I feel like we usually talk a little bit more. Like even when I'm at work, he would FaceTime me and stuff. So I called him, and I called him because it was going to be his birthday the day before I flew back home. So I felt like it was right for me to like come with a little something. So I called because I wanted to know his size for something, and I was going to get him something at the golf store. He didn't pick up, and I was like, okay. So when he finally called back, he was already like turning up. He didn't know that I answered the phone when he called. Like, I answered it and he didn't know that I answered yet. And I heard his friends in the background. Like, you can hear a bunch of dudes talking. And I heard one dude just say like, yeah, she's I met her on Instagram and she already got her flight, like she's coming out here, da 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 da. So I was just like, ugh. Like, the stuff that I heard didn't give me like great vibes about like the friends that he's around and all that. So then I got on the phone. He was drunk already, guys, and I didn't know he was drunk at this point. But then I found out that he was golfing that day, which I didn't know that he was doing that. So he already made plans and he was golfing with his boys on Saturday. So it already sounded like a party, nice and early in the middle of the day. He called back and was like pretty sarcastic when he called. He's like, hey baby, I'm just calling you back because I like checking in with you. But he was being sarcastic because I think like a couple of days before that I mentioned that I didn't like that he didn't hit me up like at night like how we usually do. So like always told me before we said goodnight, he would be like, if you can't sleep, call me. That made me feel like reassured, like, okay, cool. But most of the time I didn't call because I was sleeping. It was just like reassurance that like I'm here, I'm not seeing anybody else. When he called me back, it just didn't feel like a genuine check-in. It was just like he was being sarcastic and funny and in front of his friends. So I got annoyed and I didn't like that vibe. I got off the phone and then I went on about my day. But mind you, I'm catching a flight in the morning, so it's like 8 o'clock and I still haven't talked to this man. 8 p.m. now at this point, and he's just like, I'm like, why did you have to do the worst communicating the day before I go out there? So he decided that he didn't really need to communicate with me that day, and he was just like partying. It's like 8 p.m. I haven't heard. I reach out and I'm like, hey, like, I'm not feeling very good about going out there. Like, the communication today hasn't been good. So then this man, I'm just telling you guys, this man treated me well up until me getting there. Like, he totally changed like the day of because he was doing that nose candy, and I think it totally changed his character. And drinking. Here is a text message that he sent apologizing after I told him that and just reassuring me and whatever. He was just nice. So I was irritated because I knew that this man was drunk and turning up, and I had called him and confirmed that I was still coming because he was like so worried about me coming, and I had told him I was going to think about it. We got on a call and I was like, you know what, I just don't know if I'm going to come. And I said I need some time to think about it. And I think like an hour went by or something. I don't remember exactly how much time, but it wasn't that much time. But he was like, I didn't get back to him, and he was asking me if I was coming. And so finally I got on a call and I confirmed, yes, I'm coming. We talked. Then this guy starts texting me like all throughout the night with weird shit. You could just tell he's not sober, and he kept asking like, baby, are you coming? Like, I want you to come. And I'm like, bro, we already talked about this. I said I was coming. I text you and we talked on a live phone call. So what the hell? It felt irresponsible, and I really didn't feel good about this man anymore at this point. I was like, this is so irresponsible of him. Let me rewind. The night before I was supposed to go out there, he went golfing in the morning, which I didn't know about. He turned up with his boys, and then he continued the party after golf, and they took it to his place. He just moved into a new spot. He had just moved into his new place. So I guess they continued the party after. The night is going by and he's just getting drunker and drunker, and I'm getting more anxiety. Just couldn't believe that this was happening. And I remember he just moved, and somebody, if they're on the phone with you, they're gonna probably have the courtesy to tell you like, hey, I'm going into the elevator right now, and it's gonna cut off. But he was so drunk he didn't realize that, so he just was holding the phone. I was complaining like, dude, you're like drunk and you're gonna be tired tomorrow, like I'm not even wanting to come now, like I'm uncomfortable. And he's like, okay babe, I'll stop, but he was just trying to like get himself out of whatever. And then the phone died, I think, when he was in the elevator. So I texted him like, what happened? And I think he took a little while to respond, or he just question marked it. I don't know, guys. It was a mess. Like, this guy just didn't even know what was happening. So in my mind, I had already made up my mind that I wasn't gonna let him pick me up from the airport, but I decided to go to San Diego anyway. And I just had a feeling that once I landed, I would figure everything out. Like, I am social and I'm the type of person that can like just make friends anywhere. And I'm not scared to really travel by myself. I haven't done it much, but I did go to Turkey alone. I was upset at the airport, I'm not gonna lie. I was crying, like, it was bad. I was on live at the airport, and one of my followers here on TikTok saw the live and told me that she was in San Diego. It all worked out, you guys. So I landed at the airport. I can't tell you guys what happened at the airport, but I did meet somebody at the airport from San Diego who left his iPad on the plane, and like 2 days before that, and he noticed that I was outside for a while because he went to go get his iPad, and then he came out and I was still there. Anyways, made a little connection with him. He helped out. I can't really say how because I don't know if somebody's gonna see this. He was calling when I was at the airport in the morning before I took off, and I told him I was still going, but that I didn't want him to pick me up. So I let him know that up front before I got into San Diego. And then he just kept like calling and texting, and so like I landed in San Diego with nowhere to go. I had literally nowhere to go. And also my friend Nia was super sweet and sent me like a couple Airbnbs. My phone was gonna die. I FaceTimed her and she helped me because she has experience traveling. So when I was in the bathroom touching up my makeup, he called and he asked if I wanted him to pick me up. And I said no. And then he shared his location with me for like an hour. And he's like, in case you change your mind, and forgive me. And then he stopped sharing the location like after an hour. But I mean, my mind was made up the moment in the morning, even before I got on the plane. Or before I left in the Uber to the airport, I already knew that I wasn't gonna see this man ever again. So that's that. Anyway, that was that. And then one of my followers here ended up meeting up with me for dinner, and she ended up calling her guy friend who lives in San Diego, and then he came through with his two cousins. And you guys, I ended up hanging out with the boys the whole weekend. In particular, one I hung out with more, but he was so sweet, such a gentleman. He was just very respectful. Like, I felt so safe around him. He's a sweetheart. And so he was sweet. And the next day, so we went to dinner, we went out that night. All the group went out that night, like my TikTok friend and then the three boys and myself. We all hung out that night. They took us out, they covered everything, so sweet. And then the next day I hit up a guy that is nice and a gentleman. I hit him up because he was off work for 2 days. So he came first thing in the morning, like I think 10 a.m. Picked me up. We went to brunch. We went shooting that day with the other guys too. I mean, it was just so much fun, you guys. I had a really good trip. But yeah, this man T basically pushed me into the arms of another man. The point is that I didn't let this situation bring me down, and I didn't let it ruin anything. I still showed up to San Diego and managed to freaking thrive on vacation there, and I had the best trip ever. Like, it's
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional. Yes, we're staying lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. So that wasn't the ending that I was expecting. I thought she was gonna say like, he ghosted her or something, but he didn't. He like was hitting her up, but she really wasn't feeling him, knowing that he was doing drugs and stuff like that. I mean, he didn't sound too responsible. Maybe I don't know him. Maybe he, you know, maybe he was a trust fund baby, because it sounds like, somebody who works from 9 to 2 that owns a business doesn't really own a business, because you can't own a business and work from 9 to 2 unless you're like, you are running some numbers somehow and you have this business model that's really projecting a lot of money fast, and that's not really how that works. So, but whatever the case may be, a lot of business owners work a lot of hours. Doesn't matter. You have some type of schedule. You got stuff going on. So I'm not buying that. But whatever the case may be, something's going on. And for him to golf all the time, he got some money, but we don't know how he has it. Uh, but you you kind of fell into him, and you kind of wasted your time with him, and you know, I don't think you should have took the trip, but you did meet some people. So you come up at the same time, but then you still lost. Like you know, don't inconvenience yourself for someone like that. You just went on a trip. You took a trip for him. He paid for it. He was going. You thought I wouldn't have took that trip. Like even I was talking to somebody, and I was gonna go on a trip to meet this person, and because I ain't flying nobody out, I'll fly out to somebody. But I was like, mm, before the trip, she got to acting weird. So I was just like, you know what? It was the communication before the trip. And I was just like, yo. And then the questions before the trip that I was asking, it's just like regular stuff. Like, hey, basic stuff. I'm just like trying to, put my stuff in a row because I don't really know you like that. You know what I'm saying? And when it wasn't going right for me, I was just like, look, man, you just not giving me what I'm trying to, you not trying to, you're not trying to make me feel comfortable enough to come rock with you. Like you acting weird. And I don't understand that, but I'm like, acting weird. I mean, I rock with you. What are you acting weird for? You know? I think people just be, they like the idea of you. They don't really know how to really rock with you, and I think they used to people just being all over them. I ain't. I'm cool. Like I be chilling. You know what I'm saying? I be doing some regular ass stuff, and I think people just are used to people just being banned out over pretty women. Like, no, you fine, but damn, act normal, goofy. Everyday people, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.